Hello there and welcome to our Feel Good event in partnership with Seetec Pluss, being broadcast here live with Chaos TV from Hillingdon in London. And today we're coming to you live from Seetec Pluss's very own office here in Uxbridge. We'll be finding out more about the amazing work that takes place here in Seetec Pluss, helping people back into work every day. Now, Hillingdon is the second largest of London's 32 boroughs, and it's brimming with fantastic support for the community. Today is all about showcasing that support to you watching at home, and we're very excited to say we have a very special co-host who will be helping us along the way today. It's the lovely Elaine. Hello, Elaine.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
Lovely to have you here with us. Now, before we get going, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your role here in Hillingdon?
Most definitely. I'm going to start with my background. I come from a background, sales, product development, sales and marketing, communication and training and development. And my philosophy in life in terms of how I feel, what I do every day, I always like to surpass expectations, and I like getting things done the first time around. I don't like doing it a second or a third time. So in terms of my career, what I wanted to bring to this organisation and in looking at Seetec Pluss is the opportunity to use all of my experience and my knowledge, and how could I do that? So the role of integration manager suits me perfectly because it gives me the opportunity to go out and integrate and form those collaborations and partnerships. So I work with organisations like the job centres, employers, the corporate organisations, etc., and training providers, and I work very closely with them, and it's all about finding out about the community, what's happening in the community, and how can I form those strategic partnerships to give that support back to the community. So that's what we're all about here at Seetec Pluss.
Thank you very much. I must say, personally, it's wonderful to have you with us here today. You've got on wonderfully so far, and I can't wait to hear more of you. If you want to make your way over to the sofa there with our lovely first guest, I'm going to let people know here what we've got coming up today. So first of all, when we join Elaine on the sofa in just a moment, we'll be joined by local MP John McDonnell, who will be hearing from a Seetec Pluss participant about their journey back into work. We'll be celebrating the importance of inclusion and diversity in the workplace and how employers can champion this in their recruitment. You can hear all about the opportunities here to help upskill your career with Uxbridge College, Strive Training and Pathways London. And we'll also be hearing from some of their learners that have benefited from their support. Belina Consulting and Each Support and Counselling will be joining us to talk about the fantastic support that they offer in the community. And finally, H for All will be here as the community face of health and well-being. Now, as you regular viewers know, if you'd like to get in touch with us today, then please do, as we'd love to hear from you. There's a few ways in which you can do this. Of course, you can WhatsApp us on 01872 228844 or email us at hello@thisischaos.co.uk, or by all means pop us a message on Facebook. So now with that done, let's welcome our first guests on the sofa with Elaine. Over to you there, Elaine.
Henry, I am joined this morning today by local MP John McDonnell, along with Corrine, who's one of our employability trainer here at Seetec Pluss, and she helps a lot of people back into work. And I'm also joined by Manaza, who is one of our participants. Good morning. Good morning. John, I think I'm going to start with you first. Now, this is a feel-good event, and it's all about helping the local community in all aspects of their life and what we do. Mm-hmm. So tell me, what makes you feel good?
What makes me feel good?
Yes.
Living in this community, actually. It's exactly as you say. It's a really vibrant community. Unlike other parts of London, there's a real sense of community here. It's multicultural.
Very,
yes. I think it's an incredibly good environment as well. We're surrounded by parks and various facilities as well, and it's just really vibrant in every aspect of it as well. It's a bit of a hidden jewel in London. I don't think many people have discovered us yet, but actually it's a really good place to live and work.
That's a very good thing that you said about hidden jewel, because I was thinking of a hidden gem, and it's only because I'm working in Hillingdon that I've got to know and understand more. But in terms of you as a local MP, you've been a local MP for 25 years. in the Hillingdon area.
Don't say it like that.
So
you're saying it in a celebratory way, aren't you?
Very celebratory. So the constituency must feel a great deal about you and what you do. Can you explain how has the community grown and changed over these last 25 years?
I've been the MP for 25 years. I've lived here now. Actually, next year it'll be 50 years.
Wow.
So like most people, I've moved here to find work, things like that. It's interesting. When I first came here, it was a sort of very traditional white working class community with lots of heavy industry, metal bashing going on. We've had the airport as well. The airport was relatively small then. Since then, 50 years on, hugely multicultural community and absolutely vibrant as a result of that. You know, a whole range of different cultures, cuisines, etc. And it rubs along pretty well together as well. And so it made it an exciting place. That's the first thing. Second thing, the heavy metal industries have largely gone, but they've been replaced by new tech largely. So what we have now is a fairly intensive development of service sector industries, new tech industries.
Wow.
And because we're close to London, we've got Crossrail going through. So
absolutely,
when Crossrail's finished, it'll be 20 minutes to get into central London. We've now got quite a number of people who are living in Hayes but commuting into central London as well. So it's become really exciting. The airport is obviously going to be one of our main sectors as well. It's expanded greatly, but again, we've got a balanced economy, new tech, airport, service. And people are coming here because they can see their careers being developed in this area. We've always had housing problems because of the demand for housing, but we've got now whole areas where new properties are going up. A lot of the environmental problems we thought would come from that, we've managed to overcome because we've had a community campaign we campaigned to surround Hayes with, well, basically with open spaces and woodlands, and we've achieved it. We've got country parks surrounding the whole of the area, and there's a history to the area as well in terms of the developing cultures that we have. I think it's a really exciting place to live.
Well, you've surely given us a wealth of knowledge, and that's what 25 years, and you said nearly 50 years of living in the location, so that's fantastic. Now, Seetec Pluss are relatively new to the Hillingdon area, and we support people on their journey into work. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you think the community faces in terms of employability opportunities, and then how do you see the future looking, going forward?
Okay. The reality is that the sort of work that we're now attracting requires high skills, and alongside that high skills, there are high wages. Yes. So the key issue is making sure people have all the training and support that they need. Recognising, 50 years ago when I came here, you would go into employment, and you'd most probably be in that employment for maybe 20, 30 years, and then you'd retire. No longer the case. They're no longer the case. People will move from one career to another, so it's always making sure that they've got those flexible skills to enable that to happen, and also making sure they've just got that all-round support. You talk about holistic support, and it is about that. Sometimes it's about giving people confidence that they can fulfill their ambitions. The good thing about it, though, is that the population in this area now is growing again, but it's growing in a way where we're attracting people who actually have ambitions to exercise all their talents, fulfill the opportunities that are available to them. That's why the bedrock that we've had we opened up Uxbridge College in Hayes Town Centre. Yes. That bedrock of support for how people can get those skills is there. But a lot of it is what you're doing, which is about connecting people with those organisations that will give them the assistance that they need to either go into a career or move on from their career. But it is all about skills, learning, creativity, and I think we've got that in abundance in the area.
Oh, well, thank you so much, John. And that brings me nicely on to Manaza.
Hello.
Now, Manaza is one of our participants. You are on the Department for Work and Pensions Restart Scheme, and you're being supported here by Seetec Pluss. So thank you so much for coming this morning. So tell me, would you mind sharing your story and your difficulties in finding work before you joined us at Seetec Pluss?
Yeah, because in '95 I did some courses like IT, basic IT, and it's like and we VQ qualification
Okay.
and customer services. And after 95, I got married, and then I left everything. So I've been full-time, homemaker.
Homemaker, yes.
Yeah. So after 25, 26 years, my children grown up.
Okay.
So then, everything, technology's completely changed. And then I tried again, and then I went to Uxbridge College, and then I did again IT course and employability and some small courses. And after then, when I tried to find job, and this COVID-19 came.
Okay.
So I stuck, but I tried online to find the jobs. But they said you never worked before and you haven't got any experience. So I was so hopeless, and then I said, what should I do? Because on that time, the big companies, everything was shut down.
Shut down, yes,
Yeah,
of
so I
course.
said, I never worked before, so how can I get the job? And I haven't got any experience. And then a long time after, my job center, and then they sent me here, and then they've given me a big opportunity to find 2 jobs. But customer services, they said they're trying to find the jobs, and then they said, you can't believe I applied 50 jobs.
50?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you were
I said,
determined.
yeah, and every time they said no, because my first problem was is my English is not my first language.
Okay.
Yeah, but I learned, and then I keep trying, and after then Seetec Pluss, they sent me there, and then I changed my mind. I said, if I can't do in the retail customer services, so I have to choose another option.
Okay. So what kind of support did you get from Seetec then?
Yeah, the Seetec, then this, especially I really appreciate with my coach work, Krista.
Cresta?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she asked me, do you have any skills? I said I have cooking skills.
Okay.
I'm very, I would like to arrange, events, different events, I can decorate, cooking. And then she said, okay, you can join she asked me about his, it's the mayonnaise electronics.
Yeah.
Electronics.
Yeah. And then she assist me to go there and do some hospitality course.
Okay.
And then
So
I
it's like
refused.
on the job training?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I refused. I said, it's far away or full time. But she pushed me, and then I went there, and Seetec, they really support me. They paid my travel expensive.
Okay, that's good. I was just going to ask you, how did they support you? So they paid your travel expenses?
They paid my travel expensive. Even they paid, then I did experience there as well. And after then, the problem is they said you need DBS. And then again, Seetec Pluss, they helped me.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And after then, I also did food hygiene level 2.
Okay.
And after then, they find a lot of job. And now my DBS came after 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I hope so. I applied yesterday 5 jobs.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, well, fingers crossed. Thank you so very much, Manaza.
Okay,
You say English isn't your first language. You did very well.
Yeah.
Well done, you.
Yeah.
Now over to Kareen. Now, Kareen, you've played a role in helping Manaza and to help her become job ready. So hearing her story, how does it make you feel that you've impacted her life in such a profound way?
Well, one of the things that I really appreciate is I feel it's a privilege actually to be able to help Manaza on her journey, and I actually feel humbled in the sense of she already had in her everything that she needed. It was just walking alongside her and to help her at her own pace so that she could realize her goals. So I'm really, really privileged about that. And I have spoken to Cresta, and she told me how she supported Manaza in the initial appointment, just getting to know her challenges, then realizing her interest in cooking and how that developed where she moved on to.
Super.
And now when I look at her, she's just beaming. You know, it's making a difference, and that's really what I've always wanted to do in my job.
Excellent. You're so modest though, aren't you?
Am I? Okay.
So can you tell me a little bit more of the kind of support that people can expect when they do, you know, they can receive here from Seetec Pluss?
Yes, so my role as the employability trainer covers a couple of things. So I try to do self-development, so personal development. So one of the key and popular courses is self-confidence, self-assessment and personal presentation. And also with that, I do some practical courses. So we have like basic computer skills. So for individuals there, you know, who are not really confident using the computer or, you know, don't even touch a computer, I kind of support them with that. Okay. And then another things that we do the traditional CV workshops, we do interview skills, but what makes Seetec Pluss unique is that we have the one-to-one sessions, so we can give intensive support. And then with that, we try to just really encourage people bit by bit at their own place. And we also have the well-being expert that works with us as well. So it is really, John, you used the word holistic. It is a holistic approach. And that is really one of the things that stands out for Seetec. Yeah.
You know, thank you so very much for that, because you're very clear and eloquent. So what you do, it's all about finding people the right job. It's not just any job.
No.
What are some of the employers that, you know, you've been working with?
What we do, one of my colleagues, I sat down with him when we were talking, the approach is really three parts. So we work with the colleges, so the local partnerships. So we've got Harrow and Uxbridge College. We work with Dynamic Training. We work with Strive. So we will direct people to those courses to upskill them and to allow them to get those new skills and that confidence as well. And with those, we have what we call sector-based work academy programs, so SWAPs. So they allow people to go through those courses and get interviews, guaranteed interviews at the end. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is we work with the local employers. So we work with Metroline. We'd be working with Metroline, even Vagabond at the Heathrow. Those are some of the contacts. And again, my colleague Deep is working building those relationships and maintaining those relationships so that we can source candidates, place them into those roles, and just keep that as an ongoing process. So that's kind of what we've been doing, and obviously offer the facilities here. If you need a room, you know, please come along. We'll do the open days, even the interviews that can be done here. And then the final part is nationally. We work with our prime provider Ingis, and we actually do weekly job vacancies, different organisations, so that our participants get that visibility. So it's kind of really trying to touch base with all the employers, the local ones, but build those relationships with them as well.
Thank you, Kareen. Manaza, so tell me, what difference has this support made to your life, and how do you feel about the future?
Yeah, you know, I was very hopeless. I'm a very shy person. After then, you know, I gained my confidence and my self-respect, and it's a great motivation. You know, they just need to push, and then you can take, you know, your first step. And I think that's my first step. But after then, I think so, because I have a lot of opportunities. I can work, as a catering. I can work in a care home, and I can work in schools. So it's really changed, my mind. Yeah. So I think I can achieve anything. And I said I keep going, and one day I will start my own business.
Right. Lovely, that's wonderful. So your opportunity of working with Seetec Pluss has broadened your horizon for job opportunities.
Yeah.
So John, can I go to you here? Now, the story is very inspiring, isn't it? What would you like to say to Manaza and other people who also have their journey back into work?
What do I want to say?
Yes.
Manaza, that was fantastic. you might as well have this programme on your own. This is brilliant. No, it's a great example, isn't it?
Great story.
It's a fantastic example. Yeah. And also what's nice is the way you help on some of the individual small bits, like the DBS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Often people wouldn't know about those necessities and that sort of training. So it's that linking up that you've done so successfully.
Yeah.
It is inspiring.
It is inspiring.
Really? But it just shows you the potential. The issue around this area as well is we're the sort of logistics centre of the world, because we've got Heathrow and all the different roads, but also we've got a huge hospitality sector, and that's what you're developing really. I think people have underestimated the skills that you need for that hospitality sector, and it's the growing sector as well that people want. So I think you're so best placed now to, I think, fulfil your ambitions too. And also what you've done, you look back on your life now, you've been a homemaker, you've brought up your children, and now you're going to start your own business. That's so wonderful. Inspiring, really is.
And a final point from you, John. What's the most important piece of advice that you have been given yourself, during your career, that you would like to pass on to others?
It's not just about career, it's also life as well. But it affects your career. The one thing that has been drilled into me is always treat people the way you would want to be treated. And that isn't, that's about life generally, but actually it's about business too. If you're dealing with a client or a customer, think about how they would like to be treated. How would you like to be treated as a customer or a client? And in same, if you're managing staff or if you're being managed, it's how would you like to be treated in that particular role? In that way you get things right. You walk in that person's shoes. And if you look at some of the most successful organisations, they base it on what does the client want, what does the customer want, but they put themselves in the place of that client or customer about how they would like to be treated.
Fantastic. I think you've said it all for us. But thank you so very much, all of you. It's really been an inspiring session this morning. Thank you. So we're going to go straight over to Henry.
Hi, Elaine. Thank you very much for that. Lovely to hear such passion there for the community, and of course to hear Manaza's story there. Really is some inspiring stuff. I'm about to be joined by Abdul and Banti, who are going to be speaking to me in just a moment. But first, we're going to look at some short films from Metroline, who are a fantastic local employer, showing us what a great organisation they are to be a part of. Let's take a look.
When you join Metroline, you're joining a team that keeps London moving.
I enjoy the people, friendly environment, passengers, and I do like driving.
Training helps so much. It makes it much more easier for when you get to the garage.
People are good to you. If you're a new staff, you'd get experienced guys helping you, and the environment overall is very good.
It's a very good company to work with, and once you're here, you feel like at home. Here, this is my second home.
They've been so supportive, and I absolutely enjoy the work environment over here.
Come and join the big family in the garage.
Where will your ambition and drive lead you in Metroline?
Start your journey with Metroline today.
My name is Steven. I'm a bus driver and I work for Metroline. I really enjoy everything. I like driving, especially my route, 43. I love it. I've been on 43 since. I've never changed my route. I kind of know everything about the route. The passengers, some of them, they are, like relatives to me, and, And in my garage, everything is great. And trust me, the training was super. I mean, all the people over there under that umbrella, they're great. I mean, that's their job. They're on top of their job. They're doing it. I would advise anybody at all, family member, a friend, anybody, coming to work for Metroline. It's a very good company to work with, and once you're here, you feel like at home. Here, this is my second home. Yeah, so everyone, just come and join Metroline. It's a very, I mean, it will be a pleasure for you coming over to Metroline. Doesn't matter where you work, what company you work for, just come over.
My name is Abbas Ali. I work at Metroline in Harrowfield. I've been working at Metroline for just over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and I'm enjoying it so far. The training was brilliant. Got to learn a lot of things. Obviously different from driving a car. Driving a bus, it's a big deal. You need to really take care. But in training, I had 6 weeks training and I learned a lot. You know, it's very good. Training is brilliant. Just focus in training, and once you finish training, get to your garages, listen to your mentor. Just stay focused and just do what you have to do.
Hello and welcome back here to the Seetec Feel Good event here in Hillingdon, London, live from their lovely offices here, I must say. Thank you to Metroline there for sharing those clips with us. I'm now back here with Abdul, another participant who's being supported here at Seetec Pluss, along with his employment advisor, Banti. So, Abdul and Banti, thanks for coming on today. Abdul, could you tell us about your experience being out of work and looking for work before you came to Seetec Pluss?
So, when I lost my job, I was depressed and I was searching something which I have to be at my work. And because of that time I was not well, I was feeling very bad. And it was time when I have to decide that where I have to go before coming Seetec. So at that time I was going so many websites and so many people to give me advice, and how should I restart my life in UK as an employee. So after that I found Banti's as advisor, and then I discovered so many things, including my really skill in my branch where I have worked many years. So when my advisor Banti, he advised me that I have to give all information, and I shared myself and my previous experiences and the courses which I have completed in last 10 years. So then I found that Seetec and Banti as advisor, he showed me my goal, where I have to go. So it was lovely. Before I was thinking that there's no place for me to work in UK, in London.
Like you say, I think opening yourself really does open the opportunities, doesn't it, as well? So what support is Seetec Pluss giving you at the moment to help you towards work?
Nowadays, after coming here in Seetec, it is, I have to say, a new experience for me before 2 months. But when I started many courses and I involved in activities which were given by my advisor, so I found that these all kind of activities I was doing in my professional job. But I think according to UK job market, there was need that I have to develop myself. So I started many courses, and which was skill-based courses, and some courses which advised by my advisor, which was related to my professional background, and some courses was about communication, safeguarding, and which is helpful for me. And after having these kind of courses, I got confidence. And I realized that I discovered so many things which was in my in my personality, but I was not aware about that all kind of activities and skills. And one more thing which I got here after coming in Seetec, that UK's UK job market, and second thing was how to live with the British values. It was and it is very important for me because I was new here. So I realized that to integrate in the in UK, in society, to work with other communities, I have to have and I have to learn so many things. And I learned, and I'm learning, still learning. And one more thing which I have to add, that I'm going to for ESOL in Uxbridge College, Hayes, and here in Seetec regularly I'm getting advice and so many offers, so many new courses, which is showing me my path, and I'm nearby my goal. And the thing which I got, that having my identity, it is, and it is very important to share with you, that there is nothing to change in myself to aid many things. And this is a great realization which I found after having courses and after having the Seetec's program and sessions.
Thank you. That's really inspiring to hear, and I'm thrilled to see you're very happy with the results as well. I can see it. I really can. It's lovely to see. So Banti, obviously, as Abdul's employment advisor, he's one of the ones that you work with and closely supporting on his journey back to work. What is it that you love most about your job as an employment advisor?
Just the act of trying to extract information from him, most of which he thought is not relevant at all. What am I going to do with this, back from his own country, where the kind of work that he used to do? And just that trying to get him to open up and tell me, how is that not important? How is that? He's an imam. Imams, they work in the community. They don't just lead prayers. They work in the community amongst young people, prevention of drugs and knife crime and things like that. And they do family disputes. It's a thing in itself. And he didn't think that was relevant. So when he lost his job at the mosque, he was a bit despondent and everything. And I said, look, we're going to aim for that. Let's not focus on what you cannot do. Let's focus on what you can do. I know that the restrictions aren't being lifted as quickly as we want them to, but they will open up. In the meantime, upskill yourself. All the things you used to do back in your country in your language, you can learn them in English. So I directed him to a website. And he's just been going insane doing courses, and he keeps coming back and telling me, I've done this one. Now that his English is better, I'm going to get him to do the Prevent one as well. Why do I do this? I get a buzz out of it. I've been doing it for 20 years.
Oh, I can feel it already, the empathy, like you say, coming off here. It's wonderful to hear. It's really inspiring stuff. What advice would you give to somebody, say, watching today that's facing unemployment or worried about finding their next career?
Well, first, try to establish what it is you've got to offer. That's the most important thing. And don't fixate on a single career option. Try not to do that. For him, it was difficult. He's not going to work in retail. He's not going to go to Ladbrokes. He will be an imam. So the thing is, try and keep your options open. Completely open-minded. That's the single biggest thing. People have blinkers on. And my advice would be, think about the other roles. You'll be quite surprised at how easy some jobs are. Simple jobs. So if you worked in customer service before and you worked in retail before, there is every possibility that you can work in a college as well. And we can show you how. We can draw the skills out from you and show you how these skills can be transferred to something else. That's the single biggest thing I face.
I think, like you say there, keeping that open-minded really does mean you can transfer these skills that you've already got, that you may not know you've got yourself. As you've said, they were in you all this time, and it took yourself to open up and be open-minded to these opportunities and to go from there.
So all these courses that he's doing, what he knows in his head in Punjabi and Urdu, now he knows in English because of the courses he's following. So he had it in him, but now he can express it in English. And yeah, he's on his way.
No, it's wonderful to see, I can tell.
I have to say that because of the Seetec program and after having advice from my advisor, the great impact I got in my personal life as well, at my home, with my children and with my wife as well, and at work as volunteer, I'm getting so many difference. I'm finding so many difference that before where I was and now more confidence, and I'm in front of camera. It is because of this kind of program, and it is now easier. And I have to be thankful to advisor and my teacher who are teaching me in Essol in Hayes, and the support which I'm getting. I hope once I will be at the place where I will be giving the advice and will be helping the community in society in UK, and it will be helpful for my children, for the society, for our youngsters, for our generation in future.
No, absolutely. I can't help but say I agree entirely with what you've both said today. Thank you both for coming and having a little chat with me today, and best of luck to you as well, Abdul. I think we're going back to Elaine over on the sofa because she's got another load of lovely new guests for us.
Oh, very much, Henry. I really loved what Banti was talking about when he talked about keeping your options open, and Abdul when he talked about, his opportunities and where he's going. But now we're joined by three of the top skill training and providers here in the Hillingdon area. And they're going to be telling us about their opportunities and how to upskill yourself in your career. So without any further ado, I want to welcome Charlie. welcome. Charlie's from Strive Training. We've got Paul on my right hand, and Paul is from Pathways London Limited. And we've got lovely Perrin from Uxbridge College. Thank you guys for joining us today. Now, I have a question for everybody, but I'll ask you individually. I would like to ask you all to tell us about your organisation and how you are supporting learners in Hillingdon. And Perrin, I think I'm going to start with you first.
Thank you. So at Uxbridge College, we've got various courses that we run. We deal with apprenticeships as well. So our role is basically supporting learners to go back into work. If they're not quite there as yet, we'll support them and upskill them to get back into work.
Okay. And Paul, tell us a bit about your organisation.
Hi, I'm Paul from Pathways. Pathways is an employment skills and training service provider. So we deliver vocational qualifications locally to local participants, as well as we deliver programs to support young people. So we've got a NEAT program that supports 16 to 24-year-olds, as well as a traineeship program that supports the 16 to 24-year-olds as well. Pathways is more around helping different groups of people who are faced with unemployment, where we kind of give them the opportunity to upskill, but then the ultimate goal is to get them into employment. And the way we do that is we identify their barriers, and we work with the learners from obviously the beginning to the end. So those barriers are agreed, and we will support them through our provision, but as well as we work with partners to support them as well in terms of referring people who may require additional support as well.
Lovely, lovely. And Charlie, tell us about your organisation.
Yeah, of course, thank you. So Strive has been around now for over 10 years, and we've actually been supporting learners to get back into work through our various accredited training programs that they can use to upskill and support them a lot further. We are really, really passionate about helping all our residents across Hillingdon, and we've had some really great opportunities to do that alongside Seetec Pluss and the job centres as well. So
lovely. So Perrin, over to you. You're with Uxbridge College, and you offer a range of swaps. So it's an acronym, and what does it stand for?
So basically, the swaps, I'll just put it in simple terms, it's basically working with the job centres, the local job centres, and it's designing a programme basically with our employers. For us, it's to guarantee an interview at the end of the day.
Okay.
So it's not just with candidates coming onto our courses. At the end of the day, they have to have something to look forward to and work towards. So they've got to have a goal. So that's basically what we use the swaps for.
Right. And the acronym, it's the Sector Work-Based Academies Programme. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And why do you think swaps are a great way to kickstart someone into a career?
Well, basically, the swaps that we do have, we have guaranteed job interviews at the end of the day, but it's not just designed in one sector. So we'll have the retail, hospitality, engineering, warehousing. So we've got all the range of sectors for candidates to actually get back into work.
So it's quite broad then?
It is, yes.
Okay. So what kind of benefits do you think learners can offer an employer?
So once they come onto the course with us, it could either be a 7-day course or a 14-day course, depending on the businesses that we work with. At the moment, I'm running the Menzies courses at the moment, and they require the employability and the customer service side, so it is a 14-day course. With that, the benefits that the candidates get, they do their CVs, interview skills, they go through the interview skills, but it's not only that, it's tailor-made to that employer. So at the end of the day, when they go for their interview, they are pre-prepared, and they've read through the job descriptions properly, and they can understand the role a bit better. We do have the employers coming in, and they will do a a talk with our learners that are on the course as well. So they pre-see those learners if they've got any questions to ask and things like that. So yes, it is a benefit because they're working towards what the company wants.
Lovely. Because the question I was going to ask you, and you started to go into it, which is quite good. Why should an employer consider taking someone from a swap program?
Well, there you go, because it's tailor-made for them. So it's tailor-made for any employer, whether it's filling out the applications. I deal with a lot of Heathrow at the moment, so it's going through that 5-year checkable history as well. So the learners are prepared. They've got all the information and ready for that company.
Right. And just wondering, does the employer play a part in developing the courses that you run as well?
They don't play a part in developing the courses as such because it's accredited courses that we offer. But what they do is they will supply their application forms and then, like I said, they will come in and do a talk as well. So it will give the candidates a bit more information about what they're getting themselves into. If they've got any questions they want to ask the employer before their interview, they have that opportunity.
Lovely. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that interview? Because you said after the training, there's the hope of an interview.
It is. So it is a guaranteed interview with all our candidates. Doesn't guarantee the job.
Okay.
But it guarantees them an interview. So they do bypass all the, I would say, like a job fair, if they have to go through that process. They bypass all that, filling in that application. And a lot of candidates will struggle to fill in those applications. And that's where we come into it and we help and support them in their applications.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to turn to you now, Charlie.
Hello.
So with Strive Training, they are great at responding to the needs of the employers and the different sectors. What are the sectors that are most needed in terms of skilled workers at present?
Yeah, of course. I'll go through a bit of a journey of, how we kind of develop our employer relationships. So at Strive, we've always worked on the premise of get the skills, get the job. And that really comes into play when we're talking to our employers and understanding, their needs and their requirements. We will look at our learner database, and our learners as well, they are a factor. They are all from different experiences, different backgrounds, so our employers are going to have to be from them as well. And we go out, we network, we do our market research, we get involved with lots of different employers by doing needs analysis and collaborate with as many people as we can to provide as many opportunities for our learners. Currently at the moment we've been finding actually that there's quite a range of sectors, so it's more than just one that are actually really popular. Hospitality is a major one, major need in the industry. Health and social care. You've got your warehouse positions as well, they're crying out for them. And we've also noticed our customer service roles, so if you're working within a call centre, that's also coming into play. And obviously the seasonal vacancies, they are coming up now massively, especially for Christmas. So yeah, we're working hard and hopefully getting lots more opportunities to give to.
Okay, that's great. That's really good. So some people may not fully be aware of what the journey back into work is and what that's all about.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about some of the things that you work on with the learners to get them ready for that journey?
Yeah, of course. So the way I like to look at the journey back into work is life is not a sprint and it's not a marathon, it's a hurdle race. And that is what it's like.
Good analogy.
It is, and that's what it's like for our learners that come onto our courses, and they're getting over these hurdles, and that's what Strive is here to do. We're here to help them get over those hurdles, and we do that with our engagement with our learners through their course, after their course. Our employment support team is there. We provide them with either one-to-one support, webinars, that's tailored to them, interview practice, even if we're just there to be a shoulder to talk to, or let's say cry on, but talk to, and help motivate them and build that confidence. And it gets really reflected throughout the journeys that we have on our learners. And I'll never forget, we've actually had a lady not too long ago from Uxbridge herself, and she came to us. She was 6 months unemployed, and she'd actually been in recruitment herself, so she'd been in the market, but had lost all of her confidence before coming onto this course, and we provided all of that support that helped her boost her confidence. And then she came to us and said, I've got the job, I'm an employment advisor.
Wonderful.
And that transformation has been amazing, and you know what, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is sharing our passion to really change people's lives and, you know, get them back to doing what they love and back into work. So
excellent. I think that's a wonderful thing that you've just said there. Just getting the passion, getting the confidence back up where it needs to be.
Yeah,
so that's really well done there. Now, Paul, can I turn my attention to you?
Sure.
You were mentioning a very interesting thing about the pathways and the job brokerage team.
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell us more about that and the work you do around the brokerage team?
Sure. Pathways has got a really, really robust job brokerage team. The team purely focuses on looking at gaps in the market. So, as my two colleagues have mentioned, we focus on making sure that the learners that we're getting through the door, the gaps in the market in terms of the opportunities that are available, whether it be retail, whether it be hospitality, is where we kind of focus on making sure that we deliver on that. We focus on making sure that we partner with our employers to run the Sector Work Academy program that we've designed.
Okay, yes.
This is where the employees come on board with us and help us design the requirements that they need. So, for instance, if the employer is requiring health and safety or first aid, we incorporate that in our vocational qualification. But the main thing is to make sure that the learners that we get through the doors have got a route way in terms of opportunity to go into. I'll talk a little bit about the Youth Hub.
That was my next question. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Go
so
for
with
it.
the Youth Hub, we are the nominated provider within Hillingdon, so where we support 18 to 24-year-olds. Anyone that's coming from DWP or local authority, it comes through our Youth Hub. So we've got two part-time work coaches, two full-time work coaches that are with us 3 days a week in our centre. So they're referred, customers come into the site and they're referred into our advisors, where advisors kind of identify the requirements that they need.
Okay.
And then from there, what we do is we kind of support them with their CVs, we'll refer them onto our courses that we deliver. And our courses are more employability related, so they look at interviews, CVs, and various other units that support them to kind of prepare them into work. And then our job brokerage team will go into the session at the end of the session, just to kind of introduce the opportunities that we've got. And in most chances, we get quite a lot of people interviewed there and then. And then we match them into opportunities that are there with the employer network. But the employer engagement team purely is focused on making sure that there's opportunity for both adults and the young people. But then within the Youth Hub, we have Kickstarters who have come back from their 6 months experience from the Kickstart. Those ones are more or less pretty much job ready. So what they need is just kind of like a refresher where we kind of give them, the boost that they need. But then with the opportunities that we've got on the ground, it's a quick win for them. And we're, very passionate about making sure that we're delivering a service that's robust for, everybody. And we work very closely with DWP, local authority, to make sure that we are delivering a service that is meaningful.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So the Youth Hub and the brokerage kind of work in tandem as well. So that's really well put together there.
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. Henry is now catching up, I believe, with two learners who have benefited from support from Pathways, yourself, London, and from Uxbridge College as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Henry for this.
Yes, thank you there, Elaine. I'm here and I'm joined by Carl and Fatima. I'll be speaking with you in just a moment. But first I'm going to speak with yourself there, Carl. Could you tell us a bit about your background before you started your course with Uxbridge College and why you were looking for work?
I used to be a boiler flue fitter and a steeplejack, which I was there for 14 years. I got made unemployed in November. I've been there for a while. Basically, after that, being unemployed, the job centre, I met Perrin Coker in the job centre, and she invited me to the Uxbridge College to do the course.
That easy, really, then, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was nice and easy by meeting Perrin in the job centre to do it, but for her to get me there, it was a bit of hard work, but most enjoyable.
So you say you worked for 14 years, was it, previously, before that?
Yeah, previous 14 years for the same company, and then I got made unemployed, and because obviously a steeplejack is like a dying trade sort of thing, Yeah, I got offered to do the course for the employment for over the airport.
That's great. So what was involved in your training programme with Uxbridge College, and did you enjoy it, or what did you enjoy about it, I should say?
The IT, the customer services role, that was good. Really enjoyed that. Being with a group of people and learning new things for the IT and the computer itself. And the back to the work scheme, like for the business, I really did enjoy it. Yeah, I thought it was a nice course, nice to mingle with people with different ethnics, and yeah, it was. I would have never have done that if I had the choice of myself. But so it was nice to get into it.
It's nice to seize the opportunity like that, isn't it, really? So I do hear, here we go, I hear from Little Birdie that you're starting a new job very soon. Could you tell us what you'll be doing as work and what your role will be?
Yeah, I'm going to be rampaging at Heathrow Airport, which will be loading the planes with baggage and so forth, and driving over there, de-icing the aeroplanes, and yeah, it's there's a lot in the role. There is an awful lot in the role, and until I'm there, you know, it is a big old role, but mostly I'm looking forward to it.
I probably know the answer to this, but did you ever think you'd be doing that at Heathrow Airport?
Never. No, never. I thought I'd still be on a building site. But yeah, it's most enjoyable for what it is, and for them to put me and give me the opportunity to go over there, that's what's more important, and I'm happy for what they've done for me.
I'll make sure I let you know next time I'm going on a plane at Heathrow, so you're a bit careful with my luggage. That's fine, I can do that. So how does it feel to be starting a new career? Obviously, after coming from a career of 14 years to now be starting something new, obviously you're going to have a lot of natural feelings. What are you feeling now?
I'm over the moon. I can't wait to new career and a new place to be working, you know, and to be doing something that I really enjoy, hard work, and, you know, just being outside in the air. So getting back to it, yeah, and I think for what the college has done for me to give me the opportunity, I think, yeah, I can't wait, yeah, business.
It's great to hear. I'm thrilled to bits for you as well. I'm very excited. I quite fancy that myself. I'll have a go at that. Demisting the plane there. I don't know if that was a thing. So, Fatima, thanks for coming on today. Now, you've come full circle with Pathways. Could you start by telling us about your time trying to find work before you even came across Pathways?
Well, I've been unemployed for about a decade now because I decided to raise my children, and I didn't have that financial burden. I had my husband at the time supporting me. But at that time, I did develop skill sets. For example, I wrote a book, I developed an online course, I developed small businesses, I did my psychology degree and my master's with scholarship. So I had a lot of skill sets in that 10 years. However, I didn't have the opportunity or experiences, I guess, in a workplace or an organisation. So after my separation, I was searching for a job for about a good year, and it was really difficult because every organisation will say, well, lack of experience. But for me, I've got a wealth of experience. I feel transferable skills, exactly. But I think organisations didn't understand that, and actually I managed to get myself some interviews, but at the end of the day they said, oh, sorry, because lack of experience. Although, in my defence, the advert did say the job description, no skills required, will will develop you, we'll support you. But yeah, that didn't happen. So I guess it was just maybe 200 jobs I applied for. I actually also applied for about 20 or 30 places to give me work experience. I'm like typing up in the middle of the night, please give me 2 weeks work experience, please, just help me out. But yeah, but through the job centre, I met Paul from Pathways, and they took me into the course, a valuable course. To be honest, in the beginning, I was like, oh, but I've got a master's, do I really want to? I was a bit big-headed, a bit too prideful, I think. But it was valuable. I think it was the community, the culture,
It saw you through it there. So could you tell us about some of the barriers you've faced in terms of diversity when it comes to employers?
Well, from the top of my head, it's about 3. So as I work, even though I've got that wealth of experience, I mostly worked within my own community, only because I saw gaps. I wrote a book on psychological trauma and my religious community. I developed a course to do with my religious community and developing mindset, only because there was no one there to facilitate it. But I feel that on my CV didn't look very good. So I think that was a hindrance, being a mum as well, part-time. And, even though I found part-time work, it's the commute, and I've got dyslexia. I remember once in an interview, I disclosed my dyslexia, and they kind of asked me, but can you read? And I was like, I've just explained my wealth of knowledge. I've written a book, and there are spectrums, but it wasn't maybe the way to ask that question. So, so those are the main barriers I think I face.
I think, like you say as well, a lot of employers, they hear that one word of any sort of, anything you're dealing with, and that's the barriers up there, and then, isn't it? And it really is about breaking those down and showing that you're more than just what's on this piece of paper. Here I am in front of you as a person, and I've got these skills, and I can put them to good use. So now tell us about your role with Pathways, because this is very exciting. Tell us about this.
Yes, so after doing the course, I was actually offered 2 weeks work experience, and I was like, oh my God, thank God. I was knocking on everyone's door to give me that experience, and then here it is coming to me. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do the And then soon after, I got the job. I'm a compliance officer and a project officer, so I help people now with enrollment, so people in my position. So it's good because I can empathize with the people, and I also have done the course, so I understand. I've got in knowledge. I also dabble a bit in marketing and other ventures.
Like you say, I think you've got this experience yourself. You can share this knowledge that you've gained, obviously, after years of searching and whatnot, and apply it to those people you're now working with. This is the thing, and I think it's only something that you can get with experience as well. That's not a course you can learn. Going through the process really is something you've done, and you can apply it to your participants. So how do you feel now that you're not only back in work, but working with an organisation that's obviously so instrumental in helping you?
I think the first word that comes to mind is empowerment. I really feel empowered. This was a gap in my life that I really needed to fill. And now I have the opportunity to excel my talents and my skills. And the good thing about Pathways is that they've given me autonomy, and autonomy sparks creativity, and creativity sparks motivation, and then hence productivity for an organisation. So I'm so thankful in a sense that I'm given that autonomy, because I guess feel empowered now that I have that.
And that's something, again, that you can pass on, and only those people you're working with has also developed these skills themselves, and they'll go from there. Thank you both for joining us, Carl and Fatima. That was wonderful having you, and best of luck to you both. Very exciting stuff happening for both of you, it sounds like. Just a quick reminder now that if you'd like to get in touch with us today about anything you've seen or heard, or you'd like more information, we would love to hear from you. And there's several ways you can get in touch with us. Of course, you can WhatsApp us on 01872 228844. You can email us on hello@thisischaos.co.uk, or by all means pop us a message on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. You can also find our contact details running across the screen now for all the organisations we're speaking with today. We're going to take a quick break now, but first we have a quick video from Dynamic Training, who we'll be hearing from just straight after the break.
Hi, my name is Olivia and I'm doing an apprenticeship at Silverdale Nursery. I chose an apprenticeship because I wanted to learn about childcare and earn my own money. My worries before I started were that I didn't think that I would fit in and was worried about how I would get there. During my apprenticeship, I have learned and improved on how to start a conversation with staff and gain confidence. My next steps are to finish my apprenticeship and to get a job at FSN or another nursery. I would recommend apprenticeships because you can earn your own money, learn new skills and make new friends.
And welcome back to the sofa. Now, I hope you all are enjoying the show so far. Yes? Now, Hillingdon is a wonderful, diverse part of the UK, and we're really proud to be celebrating that today. So in this section, we're going to be talking about the importance of inclusion and diversity in the workplace. And I'm pleased to be joined today by Anne McLaughlin. I hope I said that correctly. And Claire Gardiner, and you're both from Dynamic Training. And we're also going to be joined by Melanie Aston from the Compass Group, who is hopefully going to be joining us virtually by Teams today. So fingers crossed on that one. So my first question goes to you, Anne. So viewers at home have had a glimpse of the work that you do from your videos, and thank you so much for submitting those videos. Very informative. So we were looking at Olivia, and but can you tell us more about Dynamic Training and your accessible apprenticeships?
Yes, so Dynamic Training are a core healthcare provider of apprenticeships, and we work up and down the country, probably with upwards of 70 NHS trusts at the minute. But as part of what we do, we also offer care, and we offer business and different things in apprenticeships. But as part of what we do, we're passionate about making sure that apprenticeships are accessible to everyone. So we have we call it an accessible apprenticeship. Right. So that apprenticeship is for anyone with maybe special educational needs or disabilities, and there's extra flexibilities within it. So for example, things like someone may need to work part-time hours, or they may not be able to achieve the higher levels of functional skills in English and maths that they might need to do, so there is some flexibility around that. And there's also things like disability awareness training for employers in the workplace. Okay. So we're quite passionate about talking to employers and talking also to other providers and saying to them, everyone should be making apprenticeships accessible, no matter what the qualification. People can do, all of us can't do every part of our job, so apprenticeships should be open and accessible no matter what the qualification. So we try to get people interested in things like facilities or customer service or construction. We may not deliver it, but we would like other providers to be aware that they can provide that as well, that facility to people.
Well, that's super and really interesting to know. Yeah. Claire, you provide fantastic opportunities with people with autism. So these people sometimes are overlooked by job opportunities. So can you tell us from your experience why employers should strongly consider people with a neurodiverse condition for the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting because I was actually at a webinar yesterday and there were 3 employers representing about their experiences of employing individuals that are neurodivergent. And just listening to them and the impact it's made on their companies is amazing. So we know that individuals, there's less sickness. We know that the individuals, it's an untapped talent pool, and individuals want to work and they want to be part of society, you know, the bigger picture. And these individuals are motivated and keen, but also they bring innovation, because when you're neurodivergent, you think differently.
Of course.
So that innovation is really quite perceiving things in a different way, adds value. Absolutely. So it's really those positive benefits, but then also for colleagues in the workplace as well. The fact that they're starting to think a lot more inclusively themselves because they've got colleagues that are neurodivergent. It opens up the doors to just generally supporting each other and changing your practice to be more inclusive.
Right, lovely. And I remember Anne had mentioned that you have an incredible diverse workforce, and you have 5 languages spoken, I think. Yes, in your organisation. So what are the needs and challenges in trying to help such a growing, diverse community that you work in?
Yeah, it's really, as an organisation ourselves, as a company whole, we have made the commitment to learn to be instinctively inclusive. So that's the start. So that's about any learners, apprentices that come to us for support. We focus on their individual needs and then designing how we deliver around those individual needs. And that's so important. So, for example, delivering ESOL, so that's English for speakers of another language, but also British Sign Language. Okay. So we've partnered with an organisation that offers interpreters. So we are actually just about to help support our first learner who is deaf onto programmes.
Super.
And so we're with British Sign Language as part of that support package. And then also we work with individuals with learning disabilities who have quite complex communication needs. So it's really about what helps that individual, what sort of technology can help support, how do we break down those barriers to drive forward.
Now, that's lovely. Thank you so much for that. Now, what advice would you give to employers to assist their recruitment to make sure that they are more inclusive and accessible?
Yeah. The key thing for employers is on their adverts making it clear that if anybody has any reasonable adjustments that need to be made to the interview process, to contact them, and having a key lead in each organisation that's actually going to action those requirements to drive forward the reasonable adjustments that need to be made for the interview process. I would also recommend that an outline of what's going to happen in interview is sent beforehand, and sometimes even the interview questions. It can really help break down barriers and help people access the interview process.
And also maybe that person may need to have someone else as part of the interview with them.
Lovely.
So do they need to have, it could be a parent or it could be a job coach or something that they've been working for. And also things like when we take on any apprentice, we look for referral routes. So they may have come, like, for example, from yourselves. Was there someone who was working with them? Some people have come to us through supported internships from school. So we try and take that person who's already possibly had some work experience and they've identified an area that they can work in. So that employer may well be considering taking that person on, but how do they work with them on interview? They may well be aware of some of their special needs already, but we do encourage people to open up and maybe change the interview a little bit, adapt it
just
accordingly.
Adapt. Yeah. And you just mentioned about our working relationship, because quite recently we've sent 16 participants over to you.
Yeah.
So how is that going so far?
So at the minute we're identifying with those people and contacting them all individually, but as Claire said, it's very individual to the person. So obviously people have come to us for different reasons, the same way they've come to you.
Right.
So we are passionate about making sure that, for instance, from the beginning, does that person want to communicate by email, or do they want to communicate by phone, or do they want to come in and see us face to face? So whatever we do, there's different things that you have to take from the beginning, and then whenever we get through the actual process of eligibility or something, then we need to possibly look at a vocational profile. What has that person done in the past? What would they be capable of doing? Are there any barriers to what we might be looking at doing with them? There's all sorts of things, and it's how you work with them. How flexible can you be around the hours that they might be able to work? For example, someone might be caring for other people. They may not be able to work traditional hours. Can we adapt to suit them?
The flexibility.
Yeah.
That's the word I was thinking, flexibility in the programme. So that's quite important as well, to have those options.
Yeah,
well, thank you so very much, both Anne and Claire. We're going to switch over to Mel now. And Mel, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you can hear me okay. We're going to be using technology and Teams for this one.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I think I'm going to turn the volume up on you, Mel.
How's that now? Can you hear me well?
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you are Compass Group's Diversity and Inclusion Manager. So can you tell me a little bit about your role and what that involves, and how is that champion, inclusion, the whole concept of inclusion and diversity?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. And sorry, I'm not there in person, but good to be part of it. And I hope you've had a good morning so far.
Thank you so much. Yes.
I'm D&I manager, as you mentioned, for Compass UK and Ireland. So we're a large food service company, over sort of 40,000 employees in the UK and Ireland, and the majority of those are frontline. So we're kind of across 6,000 sites. So we have a large pool of people to kind of reach, and the benefit of that, of having a really kind of diverse workforce, really. I think it's fantastic to be able to work with such a range of people, and it really represents not just our customers and the clients we serve, but also some of the communities we work in. So that's a really key part of what our goal is, of being really open to having flexibility within the business, and making sure inclusion is top of the game, really. So I was going to say that the kind of the benefit of Compass as a group, and one of our strengths, I think, in the D&I space and the inclusion, is that we're very much a business where you can come in with no qualifications, no training, and we can really offer that support and development to really help people grow their career at Compass. So we hope that's always a benefit from both sides. But I guess from an inclusion perspective, we very much focus our strategy around 3 pillars, which is all around listening and educating. It's taking a stand, doing the right thing, but also attracting and developing and obviously retaining people when they come into the business. And I think all that really kind of underlays or overlays the inclusive piece, about really making sure we are an inclusive employer. And to do that, we really rely on our networks, so our employee networks. So part of my job is fantastic, because I get to work with some really passionate people around the business that are part of 4 of our networks. So we've got across gender, race, LGBTQ+, and mental health. We're also progressing in areas of social mobility, and also looking at disability as a really clear focus. And I know that's just come up in some of the conversation you've just had. But our networks are really run by our colleagues for our colleagues, and it's a way of being able to create a really welcoming, inclusive environment. I think by having the ambassadors, it works for us. We understand what do people want from working with us, how can we adapt things, whether that, again, that's about adjustments, or whether that's about working environments and patterns. It creates that kind of dialogue, really, and conversation that we can have.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Mel. Earlier on, when we were speaking to John McDonnell, he talked about living in Hillingdon for the last 50 years plus. And he also talked about the changing demographics, the diversity, the rich culture that has grown within the Hillingdon area. So the question that I would ask you, how do you go about targeting the different diverse groups for the different roles within the community, and not just at the lower level, but at all levels?
Yeah, no, definitely. And we like to think ourselves as a very highly inclusive employer because of the kind of stretch that we have, and we have a really good mix of ethnicities. If I'm honest, the mix is more is higher at the lower levels, so we do still have some work to do at the higher levels. But the way we kind of go about it is really around creating kind of diverse job boards. So when we go out and create contact our customers, we kind of work with agencies that across all areas, kind of whether it's to do with ethnicity or whether it's to do with disability. So we make sure we kind of share those across all those boards, and really connect with the local community. So whether that's through schools or career fairs, social mobility programs, areas like that. And I think if you think about Hillingdon, I know Heathrow is pretty close, and we have a site there, for example. And again, a lot of people have worked in Heathrow for many years, and we have that in a number of our hospitals as well. And actually it's about attracting, the family and friends, the kind of recommendations, that we also think that word of mouth piece is key as well. But it's also about looking at things like apprenticeships and the career pathways that we do, and really kind of linking into what will help support and develop those people in those areas. Mixed with that is also working with charities, and we work with areas sort of like Clink, which is about ex-offenders, or Radical Recruits, which is a charity that looks at getting homeless people back into work. So it's again working with those partnerships and seeing how we can align and meet those community needs.
Lovely. Talking about partnerships, how would you then give, or what advice would you give to employers to encourage the whole concept of diversity and inclusion within their workforce?
I mean, I think if I'd like to think people are doing it more so now, but if they're not, I mean, really, why wouldn't you? It's just kind of, it's one of those, the right thing to do. It makes commercial sense, if nothing else, and it's just about making everything truly accessible. And otherwise, you're excluding people, ideas and skills and talent that you could be bringing to those teams. So I think that's really key. And there's a number of ways that we do that, in the sense of, you know, looking at blind CVs or looking at behaviours and making sure there's balance panels and balance interview panels, etc.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Thank you so very much, Mel. So I'm going to pass you back over now to Henry, and let's just see what he's up to now.
Hi Elaine, thank you for that. Lovely to hear. They're really interesting stuff. Now, I've been out and about into the offices here at Seetec, and I've been and gathered a couple of willing volunteers to come and have a bit of a chat with me, and we're going to talk about the vibe here in the office, what's been going on, what's happening, and how we're all finding it here. So if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell me what it is you're doing here in the team.
Of course, yeah. So my name's Jacinta Lindo. I'm the Restart team lead here at the Uxbridge Seetec. With me, my role, depending on the day, it can consist of me managing a team, making sure our appointments are fulfilled, any background, important information, some things like when we have participants that come in that want to do a course and so forth, they might want to be interested in doing something with CSS cards and maybe security and things like that. So we make sure that we can approve that, make sure that they're on the right course, and basically fulfill their journey. And that's what you do.
Great, that's great stuff. And how about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Priya Kitka, and I'm the receptionist here at the Seetec Pluss. And I see the participants at the very first, they come to me, and from there they go to their advisors. So make sure they go to the right advisor, and they've been seen nicely, and if they need any help regarding any other facilities, I help them with their remittances for bus transports or anything. So I look at that as well.
So you're the first smiling face they see as they come through the door there. Now, I must compliment the office. Obviously, it's looking wonderful. The facilities are marvellous as well. How are you finding it here in Hillingdon then?
Well, I live quite local, so this is my area. I love Hillingdon. We have the High Street. We've got two actual shopping centres. We have Pavilions, Chimes. We have your Card Factory right to Marks and Spencer's and things like that. We've got the local university as well. We have Brunel University here that offers many courses. We're quite close in connection with Harrow and Uxbridge College as well. And we have a really good relationship with them. So some of our participants that come here, we offer courses to them as well. We've got direct contact, so they don't have to go through a lot of the application process and things like that. In the area, my local, I go to Greg sometimes and get my meal deal. Sometimes as well, we can use. There's another place that I go to as well. I think it's called Rapid. I think it is also. That's one of my favourites. The chicken tikka masala. That's mine. That's mine there. And then we have other businesses such as Coca-Cola in the local area. We have a hotel. So even for us being here and getting those participants into work, there's a lot of shops that especially in the retail industry that we can help with, and obviously the hospitality local to us. We have Heathrow Airport as well, so that's a really good connection as well, and anyone that's interested in aviation and things like that. So definitely in my area, I love it.
How about yourself? What do we like to get up to? Where's the best place for a chicken tikka masala in your opinion?
I'll just let you know that I'm a vegetarian, but there is a Tikka Nation there down, so they do get nice vegetarian dishes. And the rep one, the other one does vegetarian. So if I didn't bring anything, that's the only place where I go. So there's lots of varieties where I can go for my...
So how are you finding it here in the office then? Obviously, we've had it lovely kitted out here. It's all looking lovely, smelling lovely, nice and fresh and clean. So far, so good. Let's keep it that way, please, folks. So how are we finding it here in the office then? What's the vibe here?
It's brilliant. The vibe is so nice. Every day the vibe is like this with us, every single day. So it's always welcoming in the morning for us to come to work. It's always been positive for me.
See your smiling face welcoming them as well. That's the thing. How about yourself? How are you finding it in the office here then?
Oh, well, me, I operate on a good and a bad policy. So good when I'm in the mood of the not so happy manager morning. We usually have huddles in the morning, so we cover anything outstanding. But then other than that, we usually have our quarterly meetups that we meet up as a team when we go out for meals. We have awards and recognition, so we definitely give away awards to staff members as well as participants, especially the ones that take part in certain events and things like that. Also in the office, I think that we recently this week we did a bit of health and well-being. So we did exercises in the morning, keep fit. We did planks, who could do it the longest and so forth. So in terms of the office, really great office. Advisors are very down to earth. They're everyday people, just like me and you and everyone else. They're very normal, I could say, in that sense. And we've come from all different walks of life. There's many languages in the office. In total, Priya, how much did we total up to? I think it was 18 languages spoken in the office, and we've got it all. I think we're a real big bowl, a bigger fruit bowl, if anything, of different personalities. And a
big fruit bowl of energy there, personality. It's all natural. It's all coming to you. Well, thank you for letting us come join you guys here today and have this live interview and bring the chaos here with us, as you've seen, no doubt. It's been wonderful to come in and see how it's all working here and all your wonderful smiling faces, each and every one of you. It really is lovely to see. That's what we bring. That's definitely what we're here to do. So thank you for that. Really appreciate coming on and having a chat today, and it was great to hear from you. Now we want to hear from you folks at home, anybody that may be watching. By all means, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you, where you're to, what you're up to, what you're watching, any thoughts and opinions, thoughts and feelings on the piece. That'd be lovely to hear. Of course, you know the WhatsApp number. You can get us on 01872 228844. There we go. Like you're on X Factor, like that, yeah. Or you've got our email, hello@thisischaos.co.uk, or don't forget, you can always pop us a message on Facebook. Again, thanks very much, you both. Lovely to see you. We're going for a quick 5-minute break now, while I'm off to Greg's and for a chicken tikka masala. course, we are here live in Hillingdon, London at the Seetec offices, looking wonderful. And I'm joined now by the lovely Bhupinder, who is a volunteer with a fantastic organisation called Each Counselling and Support. Thank you very much for coming on and having a little chat with myself today. Could you tell us about Each, who they are, and what work they're up to in the community?
Thank you for having me on, Henry, firstly. And I'd like to start by saying I'm really pleased and honoured to be talking about Each today, because I think they're a great organisation, and the kind of work they do is community work in the truest sense of the word, because they work with some of the most vulnerable, yet sadly the most underreported or overlooked sections of our community. And I talk here about especially women and children who've suffered domestic violence, sexual abuse, youth with mental health problems or substance misuse, addiction issues, as also survivors of war and the refugees in our community. So they do some wonderful work with these groups of people. And to be more specific about the kind of projects they do, so with women and children, survivors of domestic violence and sexual abuse, they have a number of ongoing projects, such as there's a project called Avaz, and there's a project called Ascent, where they work with specifically people from ethnic backgrounds, Black and other ethnic minorities especially, providing them one-to-one support, group therapy sessions, also providing them safety planning, crisis intervention, refuge spaces, sheltered accommodation. So, the support is, it's endless support and ongoing. So they do some wonderful work in that sort of section of community. They also do some amazing work with within the employability sector as well, as in they run this program called the IPS scheme, which basically works with those with mental health issues or other sort of depression, anxiety, and support and empower them to get back into either training or even employment. So that's the other work that they do, and again, that has a great impact. As we all know, there's a lot of us suffering in silence with mental health and depression and whatnot, especially after the COVID period. So that's another great work that they're doing there, within the Hillingdon community. And also they do this really crucial project for a very important part of the Hillingdon, the borough. It's the Tamil community. So they work, there's a fairly large Tamil community within the borough, and they run this, it's called the Tamil Trauma Project. What they do is they provide support to people in the sense of benefits, advice, housing support, counselling again, other one-to-one sort of support groups, things like that, helping them deal with mental health and other issues caused because of their struggles through the war that's ravaged Sri Lanka for many decades, and they're obviously now here as refugees. So really crucial, vital work, as I say, with some of the most vulnerable people in our community.
You really are covering all bases there, aren't you? And like you say, I think the most important thing to take from that is community does mean everybody. Everybody, every single one of them. This is the thing, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there. This is it, and they deserve it, and they need the help. This is it, and we need to watch out for these people. So obviously the work you do as a volunteer and as an employment advisor is so inspiring. What is it that you love so much about changing people's lives in this way?
So what I absolutely love, of course, doing what I'm doing here with Seetec, but also with Each as a volunteer is like I said, not just who they help, which I've just listed, but also how they do it. So one of the way they go about it, because they work with these, the ethnic communities especially, is they provide very culturally sensitive and culturally specific support. So there is a lot of, understanding of the background. There's a lot of, assessment of more specific needs. There is, for example, a lot of support offered in community languages, interpretation, things like that, which if you imagine, it actually in many ways makes something that is not easy to support with slightly harder as well, but they obviously try to sort of cater to that sort of the demographic of our community, so they go over and beyond to do that, and they do it in this way. So I feel that's an amazing thing. I feel what sort of takes place in terms of support that they offer, but also the other part is, like I said, it's who they support, how they're doing it, but also the final objectives then that they try to achieve, which we like, which how they say it in each is the 3 S's, which is support, stability, and sustainability. So you support, you empower, you change the situation, but then you try to do that on a consistent basis, so it stabilizes the situation. It's not just crisis management, for example, but it's ongoing support, hand-holding, as they'd say. And then from there on, it's sustainability. So ensuring once the hand-holding, whatever sort of support is sort of weaned away or taken away, they're able to, lead their own independent lives and have agency and make their own decisions. So, yeah.
I think, like you say, that you touch on there, that these people are treated as individuals, but there's a great respect for the communities that they're a part of as well. And, these communities are part of these individuals as anything. This is the thing, and I think it goes very deep, that does.
It absolutely does, yes.
So, obviously, anybody... This is it, it's cutting through, breaking them down, and this is what it's all about, I think, at the end of the day. It opens up the doors, doesn't it, once you've opened up yourself there. So if anybody at home watching today would like to find out more about each, how can they get in touch?
So there is, for starters, there's the website. So you could always log into eachcounselling.org.uk. They recently revamped it and they've added all the services now. So it's a newly done up website. They've got lots of information on there. So please do not hesitate to log in. A lot of the issues that, the things that we've just spoke about tend to go unreported. So this is one of those things that if people need help and support with this, they really need to reach out. And I can promise you there is help out there. Definitely reach out, yeah.
I think that's the thing you say, it's the accessibility of reaching out and help, and I think part of the battle is already knowing that the support is there, and I think a lot of people don't realise that the support's there to be accessed a lot of the time.
Absolutely. And I also want to say that if you do reach out, especially in coming from situations of abuse and trauma, etc., please know that you will be believed and it will be acknowledged and help will be given out. You will be supported. So do reach out.
Wonderful. It's really inspiring. Your passion for it as well is very clear, I must say. So thank you very much for coming on and having a chat with me today. It was lovely to meet you, and I'll get back to you, let you get back to changing lives, I think. Then, Elaine, we're going to come back over to you, as I know you've got some lovely new guests there on the sofa with you.
Henry, you would think that we've organised it, but we didn't. We didn't arrange it at all. We have on my right beautiful Liz from Belina, and we're actually wearing the same colours, bang on. And we also have Chanel, who's also part of Belina Consulting as well. Ladies, welcome. Thank you. So first of all, I'm going to start with you, Liz, and just to say... if you can tell us a little bit more about Belina Consulting and what they do.
So we run the GROW programme, and the GROW programme works with mums who are just maybe a little bit further away from work. So maybe you have an autistic child, maybe you are somebody who doesn't have English as a first language, maybe you've never worked, maybe you're a lone parent. Anybody who's just that little bit further away from work and needs a little bit more time, a little bit more support, gain their confidence, we're there to help them in Hillingdon get back to work.
Right. And when you say lone parent, a lot of us tend to think about females, but you also cater to fathers as well. So
we do actually. There are fathers who've been on our programme and really enjoyed it. What we're really looking to support is people who are the main carer for the children. So that's where we work.
Now, you've mentioned you've been with Belina Consulting when we were discussing just a little while for 15 years now. So what can you share with us as the needs of the community? Because it's been a changing community as well, hasn't it?
I think what's been really fascinating in the last sort of 3 years going through COVID is seeing how both the people who want to go back to work and employers are changing. and we can see that people are more open to doing different things, and we can see that employers are more open to flexibility. Just speaking to Metroline here today,
okay,
and
yes,
we're talking about offering flexible contracts. That's fantastic. So I think that there has been that kind of step change of people looking to do different things and flexibility being more available. It's lovely.
It is, because I would imagine, especially for lone parents, some of the barriers may include the flexibility or inflexibility of time, not being able to work full time, only a few hours every single day. How do you address that in terms of the job market and finding the job opportunities for the lone parents?
So let me give you one, I think, really good example. A lot of our mums, they don't just want to work part-time, they want to work term time. So we run a project called Preparing to Work in Schools, and it helps those mums I've been bringing up my children, but also there might well be other things that I need to do in order to get myself a job. So we help them build that experience, and it's a lovely project, and it's something that I think we just need to acknowledge that some people need to work.
Lovely. So talking about those lone parents and talking about term times, in terms of employers, are you able to bring them on board in terms of them understanding this particular segment? Because it's quite a unique segment of the working market. How does the employers relate to that?
Well, we've got a lovely programme called Flex that Chanel actually works on, which is about encouraging employers to be more open to flexible working, thinking about, are there core hours? Are there other times that people can work? Can people work from home? How do you manage the outcomes, not just is somebody present in a place? So it's reaching out to employers. I think it's part of all our work, isn't it? Because it can't just be a one-sided conversation. We need to have them involved as well.
Well, you mentioned beautiful Chanel. You were here really early this morning, so that says a lot. And the beauty about Chanel, she actually was a previous participant with Belina Consulting,
yes,
and now she's working for you.
Yeah.
Talk to me and tell me what that was like.
Well, I joined the program in 2020. Before that, I was a stay-at-home mum. I have two beautiful children, aged 5 and 3. Being part of Belina, they gave me the support and the push I needed. And now working for them, it's allowed me to see things from a different point of view, and it also helps me understand how people may feel when they're joining the program, because we work with so many women from different backgrounds.
Lovely. And you talk about the support from Belina. What did that look like? What sort of support did you get?
The support at Belina is endless. I was allocated an advisor, and what she did for me was make sure that my CV was up to date, and it made me attend the sessions that were running. I remember the first session I attended, we were applying for jobs, and the next day I got an interview date. So it was all very quick.
That was very quick.
Yes, and then I called my advisor telling her I got an interview date, and I was sort of panicking, and she was like, just calm down, breathe, you're going to do great. And then I got the job. So
you actually got the job. Well done, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Now just tell us, how have you ended up as being part of that team? Because you've actually come full circle. So if you can just elaborate and just share with us, because there's going to be a lot of participants who, like yourself, from similar background with children, confidence that you talk about. If you just like to elaborate a little bit there.
So when my work contract was coming to an end, I wanted to find a job that was flexible because, as I mentioned, I am a mum and my kids are very young. And then I saw an opportunity to work for the Grow team, and sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I saw an opportunity to work for the Grow team, and it gave me the confidence. I had the experience.
I'm going to zero in here because something's very emotional. Something beautiful and very profound has happened to you with Belina and the Grow team. And so every time you try to talk about it, I can feel the emotion come through. So what was that like? And how did you embrace working with the Grow team?
So yes, this is something I am passionate about. I believe everyone should adopt flex and promote flexible working so that parents like me and myself, they have an opportunity to find work that works for them.
and they can create a balance between their work and family lives. So this is something that I am passionate about.
I can actually feel the passion.
Yeah.
I actually feel very emotional. And I'm going to go back to you, Liz, because something profound has just happened there. I've just felt it, okay? And it's something connected to what you and your team does. So you must be very inspired about that. And how does it make you feel?
We're so lucky to have somebody like Chanel working with us, and we always try to look for people who are resilient. And I would say anybody who gets back to work, who has been through the issues that we were talking about earlier, they do have that resilience. And somebody like Chanel talking to employers about why flexible working is important, it's not just, oh, you should do this, it's good for you. It's this will make a difference to how you can get great employees if you're just a bit more flexible, and who better to do it than somebody who works flexibly and is a great employee. So, you know, we're truly blessed to have her, and all our team work part-time because we get such great staff from being able to offer people those part-time opportunities. So it's a real joy to see somebody like Chanel come through and be able to work with those employers and tell her that story. And she might be emotional, but actually she's also very calm and collected and great at when she's doing her job. She's brilliant.
Actually, she's a great ambassador, isn't she, for Belina Consulting. Tell me, in terms of how can other people get in contact with your organisation, because I can just imagine so many people thinking, I'd like to be part of this organisation. How can they go about doing that?
All they need to do is go onto our website, getreadyforwork.org. Just go on there. There's a form there you can fill in. Somebody will back to you within 24 hours and we'll get you onto our programme. So as long as you're a mum in Hillingdon, want to get back to work, contact us.
Lovely. Chanel, Liz, thank you so very much for joining us this afternoon. And we're going to throw it back over to Henry.
Yes, thank you very much, Elaine, there on the sofa with her lovely guest. Lovely to hear Chanel's story there. I'm now joined by another Seetec participant here, Zachariah, and his employment advisor, Sam. Welcome, guys. Thank you both for coming on today. I'll be with you in a minute, Sam. Zachariah, a couple of questions for yourself first. Tell us about your previous employment and why you were referred to Seetec Pluss, please.
First of all, I am an accountant. I was working in Super Financial Limited as a branch manager in Southall. And because of the pandemic, the management decided to close the branch. Since then, I registered in Universal Credit Office with wonderful coach Maxine, who was supportive, kind, and professional. She read my CV and she told me that I am going to refer you to Restart Scheme, which is very professional. They are so professional to support you and find you easy job. That's why I came to Restart Scheme.
It's great to hear. Like you say, it's lovely to have that support there, isn't it? So for you, what did you find after obviously being employed at the bank and the branch having to close due to the pandemic? What for you was the hardest part of unemployment?
The hardest part in unemployment, it's definitely you'll struggle. You struggle to pay your bills. You struggle to do your shopping as usual because you have no enough money to support your family, and there is so many things. It will be affected. Even your well-being. It might be affected because of lack of money, and you are not working. You cannot go for restaurants, for even you cannot social like before, and emotionally you might be affected. That's why it's too hard. You cannot go for to support your team. You cannot go for holidays. It's very important. Yeah.
Like you say, I don't think it's realised how much unemployment can impact somebody's well-being. They're impacting so many aspects of their life to the point where it's not just not about having this job, is it? It's affecting your personal life out of work time and things like this. So what would you say to others that are struggling whilst looking for work and about the support you've had from Seetec Pluss?
First of all, there's 4 things. They have to be optimistic always. They have to improve their skills. They have to keep learning, and they have to believe in themselves, because they deserve a better life. Always they have, and there are always so many opportunities and vacancies matching their skills and their experiences and their qualifications. And there are also so many professionals like Sam to support people who are unemployed. There are so many professionals like Sam who was really very talented. From the first interview, he just read my CV, and because he was talented, he was well organized, which is very important, and he was professional, and because he has a lot of connections with employers, that's why it was too easy for him to find me a full-time job here in Uxbridge.
I can see you've got such a willingness as well, and I think that's such an important quality there, that you've got driving yourself behind.
I cannot forget that from the first interview he found me a job, full-time job, which is not easy at all.
I think that speaks volumes for both of you. It really does. It's an asset to the both of you. So Sam, could you tell us what it's like in a typical day of an employment advisor? Full of excitement, I imagine, glamorous, no doubt.
Yes, definitely, as you said, full of excitement. And in fact, every day is not the same day, because you meet different people having different backgrounds, they have different problems, different issues, and every day is something different. And you learn, as an advisor, you also learn new different things from them. So a typical day will be, when the participant comes in, preparing their CVs, tailoring their CVs, helping them with their cover letters, preparing them for an interview if they have interview ahead, building their confidence and motivation. That's the main part of this program, and we as an advisor help that. Other than that, there are different other things, like we do help them with their financial issues, with their housing issues, and obviously those who have gone into work, we do provide them with in-work support. Now, supposing if they require anything, when they require clothing in order to start, we do help them with that. Obviously, they have been on universal credit for quite a long time, so they might not have the traveling for the initial month, so we help them with the initial month of their traveling as well. So, yeah, the typical day, there's lots to add, and I won't be finishing if I continue with all of that. But that's how it is.
So I think coming from that, obviously having so many aspects to the job, obviously I've got to ask that. I know you're not meant to have favourites, but what for you is the most rewarding part of the job? Obviously you've got finding your participants these jobs and things like this, but going from there, it must all be so rewarding, really.
I will say the most rewarding part of this job is seeing a participant's journey. That journey can last as short as Zakaria, maybe a week, or it can last for a month, 6 months, or even more than that. Yeah, like let's just take example of Zakaria. When Zakaria came in, when I met him, when I said, "Hi Zakaria, how are you doing?" He was like, "Not too bad," and he was very, not that confident enough, because he had been out of work for quite a long time. But when I saw him and I told him that I might have something for him, he was full of excitement, and he was full of, yes, Sam, tell me more about it. So, yeah, and within a week, I think so, he secured his self-employment. When I referred him, they called him for an interview, and he accomplished the interview, and he got the role. And then when I saw him, it's in this building itself. When I saw him on this first day, and he was like, "Sam, I got the role, and this is my first day, and I'm starting." And just to see that excitement on your participants, the happiness on their face, that's more rewarding for us.
Now, obviously, Zakaria, you really are a success story here of Sam, and like you say, to see that journey come to fruition at the end, isn't it? It's this reward at the end for yourself, which in turn you get this empathetic reward from as well, I think, don't you? This is the thing. So now, I must say, we've got a couple of videos now coming up before we go to our last segment with H for All from Thrive London. So thank you both to joining me today for having a little bit of a chat. We're going to take a look at these short videos, and we'll be right back after a break.
6 ways to improve your well-being. Stay calm, we will get through this. It's normal to feel anxious and worried about things that feel out of your control. Try to relax, take deep breaths, and focus on the present. This will help lighten negative feelings. If you or someone you trust can go online, visit good-thinking.uk for free NHS-approved digital tools to help manage anxiety, low mood, sleeping problems and stress. Be kind to yourself. Find time to do something you enjoy. It's okay to treat yourself to the things that make you smile and make you feel good. Make yourself a hot drink, watch a film, read a book, or try a crossword. Don't be hard on yourself. It's important to recognise your successes and the things you are grateful for, no matter how small. You could consider keeping a gratitude journal each day where you write 2 or 3 of these things every night before you go to bed. Connect with others by phone, text, social media, write a letter, or smile at your neighbours. Many of us will miss seeing friends and family and taking part in our usual activities. It's important that we stay connected. Get in touch with friends and family to share your thoughts and have a chat. If talking to a friendly stranger is easier, you can call the Silver Line on 0800 470 8090. It's a free helpline offering friendship and advice to older people 24 hours a day. If you're online, find some tips from our friends at www.campaigntoendloneliness.org. Take a break from listening to, watching, or reading the news. Reduce the impact of information overload on your mental health. You may want to limit your intake of daily news, as too much coverage can be scary and make you stressed. If you're online, the NHS website always has the latest information at nhs.uk/coronavirus. Move around and find different ways of staying active. Being active reduces stress and helps us sleep better. If you have access to a garden, or if it is safe for you to leave your home for exercise, then get some fresh air, go for a walk or a run. If getting out and moving around is not easy or possible for you, keep moving about indoors as often or as much as you can. Explore different ways of adding physical movement and activity to your day and find some that work best for you. Help is available if you are not okay. Things can feel very hard at times. Support is available for whatever you are going through. There is hope and you're not alone. These helplines are free and confidential. Call Samaritans on 116 123. Whatever problems you are facing, Samaritans are there to listen. Shout. Text SHOUT to 85258. This text service for support with any mental health concern will not show up on your bill. Cruise. Call 0808 808 1677. This service offers support and advice if you are grieving or dealing with a bereavement and a loss of a loved one.
Talking about mental health is important, but it isn't always easy. Try our conversation tips and prompts to help you get your community talking.
S. Situation.
Using a situation to find common ground.
All of these new changes are so hard to keep up with. How are you feeling about the easing of restrictions?
I'm looking forward to a holiday, but staycations are expensive and I don't feel comfortable flying yet. How are you feeling about travelling?
I. Initiate.
Initiating a caring conversation, asking direct questions.
You haven't seemed like yourself recently. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Since the restrictions have been lifted, and if you feel comfortable to, are you free to meet to catch up over a coffee this week?
G. Guide.
Be a good listener, without judgment.
You said you missed your brother's wedding. How has that made you feel?
You mentioned relationship worries. How is this affecting you?
N. Nudge.
Prompting with positive encouragement and practical suggestions.
How would you feel if I helped you to find someone who can help?
What have you thought about for next steps? How would you like to move forward? I am happy to help.
SS. Support and signpost.
Sharing help and resources.
It's been great to talk about this. There's so much more help available for you if you'd like to speak with someone from the NHS or from any other local organisations. Here are some options for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. Welcome. We're on our last final section. But it's really been good. Have you been enjoying the show so far?
Absolutely, it's been a blast.
And I've actually forgot my microphone, so I'll say that all again. You know, I can't believe we're at the very end, you know, so it's been really exciting and very exciting to meet with you guys. So I'm going to be joined with Vicky Harrison-Carr and Dalvinder Jammu, both from H for All. So I'm going to start with you, Vicky.
Okay.
H for All. What does the H stand for?
Well, it's quite open to interpretation, actually. It can mean Hillingdon for all, it can mean health for all, or it can mean help for all, whatever you like.
Okay, I just thought I'd get that one in. So can you just tell us a little bit about H for All and in terms of supporting the community with their health and well-being? Because after all, it is a health and well-being event as well, isn't it?
It is. So actually H for All is a health and wellbeing charity, and we're very much embedded in the community. I lead on the community side of the work. So in terms of supporting the community, we do it directly with services and indirectly. So directly, we do a lot of work with messaging and engaging with the community around health issues and listening to them and consulting with them. So we have two main strands of projects that do that. We've got a thing called Community Champions, who are volunteers who do a lot of sort of almost like peer mentoring, I suppose, and messaging. Yes. And then we have a program called My Health, which is where we partner with clinicians and we run workshops and roadshows around particular health issues. So whether that's diabetes or menopause, for example, we've got lots of different themes.
That was on the telly this morning, wasn't it? Talking about menopause.
The menopause work that H for All have been doing has been hugely successful, and the workshops have been so well received that there are now peer-to-peer support groups with residents actually coming together and supporting each other with that issue.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, much needed.
Excellent. So how can a community-led approach impact the health of the local residents? Because that's all part of what we're now talking about, really, isn't it?
Yes. And so, I mean, I think research has shown that actually sometimes the top-down statutory service, strict kind of approach to messaging doesn't work, and that a kind of more peer approach, word of mouth, works better. And that's the premise of our Community Champions program, actually. It's like, you know, you might not trust a certain individual or a certain organisation, but actually if it's someone from your own community or someone you know otherwise, you know, you might trust what they're saying and their lived experience. So a good example of that is that we run a lung health engagement program, and since we had a community-led approach to it, in the first quarter of delivery, people making appointments has increased by a massive 30%, whereas when they just got a doctor's letter, they were ignoring it.
And why do you think the difference? Why do they ignore what's written officially coming from the doctor, but they would rather trust that peer-to-peer? The difference
because
there?
it's it's about actually. You may get something delivered to you, a piece of information, but then, you know, you need to ask questions. You need to think around the subject more. So that's why the Community Champions and the My Health workshops work better, because, you know, that you're thinking about it more laterally, and, you know, you can sort of do some myth busting as well.
And in terms of the kind of questions, now the lung that you just explained to us about, can you just tell us a little bit more about that? I find that quite interesting.
Yes, so basically the NHS have tried to do some early screening for lung cancer, but originally people just weren't responding to the invitations to go to for screening. So we've now done a community-led approach, and it's people between 55 and 75 who are smokers or ex-smokers. Now, they may be asymptomatic, so, they probably otherwise would have thought, well, I don't really need to do this. But with encouragement and a better explanation, we find that that's really, the take-up has improved hugely.
Because coincidentally, I was doing some research the other day about Hillingdon, and one of the things I realised that the local authority and the GP offices, as well as the NHS, they actually get together to form an organisation to look after their own, so to speak, because especially a lot of the baby boomers, they don't exercise as much as they should do. Their areas of health, which is greater of concern in the Hillingdon area. So it's really interesting to hear what you've just talked about that. So Dalvinda, over to you. In terms of social prescribing, what exactly does that mean?
Our service is completely a social prescribing-led approach. So social prescribing is not a new phenomenon, but it is something that has been really focused on recently by the local NHS, NHS nationally, in fact.
Right.
So it's basically anything that can affect a person's health and well-being outside of their medical condition. So anything that could be finances, it could be someone's lost their job, it could be, mum's had a fall and now I have to look after her, so I have to leave work. Anything that is not medical that wraps around that person that could impact their health and well-being. That's typically what social prescribing is perceived as. And now there's been a big push by the NHS to have social prescribers for every borough in the country.
Really? Lovely. So in terms of the benefits, what are the benefits of the whole concept of social prescribing?
It's about putting the person in the middle and wrapping the services around them. I think traditionally the NHS has been set up as a service-led provision, and it's been up to individuals to access those services when they need them. The issue is now that people's needs have changed. We've got a greater population. You look at our local borough now, we've got a large population, elder population.
Aging population.
We've got a large amount of health deprivation between the north of the borough and the south of the borough. We've got an airport, so we have an influx of immigration. So all of these things put additional pressure on the NHS. And it's up to services like ours to support the NHS, to wrap services around those patients, to help them access services that normally they couldn't. Maybe they've got literacy issues, maybe their English is a second language, maybe they've got mental health issues themselves, so they find it difficult to navigate the health and social care pathway. So our teams help to do that, as well as provide them with emotional support, access to services, information, advice, benefits, signposting to local groups, support services, anything that can help them with their health and well-being.
Well, that's interesting, because when you look at Hillingdon over the years, the changes in diversity has been huge, hasn't it? I think it's near 50-50 now in terms of how it's been allocated in terms of the demographics. So how have you managed to work with all the different nuances, with the cultural diversity, cultural differences, the barrier of not speaking the language?
We have a patient-led approach and we have a neighbourhood approach. So we look at the areas where people are based and deliver the service based on the needs of that local area. So for example, a lot of our ethnicity is within the south of the borough. So in those boroughs, we employ workers that do speak local ethnic languages, that are familiar with the community. And most of our staff, about 80% of our staff, are Hillingdon residents, born and bred. So they know the borough. They know how, what makes it tick. They've seen the changes. They've been working in the field in different charities or social care or health for a number of years. So almost organically, you have an attachment to what's happening in that borough, and you can cater for it, almost organically in that way.
Lovely. And you also have like a well-being led service. What does that look like?
So it is, as I've said many times, it's about looking at the needs of the person. Right. Doesn't really matter what that patient has always been referred for. It matters what's important to that patient. So, to give you some examples, we've got patients who have got health conditions, but the things that are really bothering them are they're now frail and they can't look after their home. That's affecting their mood, their well-being. It can cause depression. It causes them to become socially isolated. They then require additional support and services. So in instances like that, we could support them with getting someone in to help clean the house, or cut the grass, or take them to the shops, or help them to manage their medication. Get them internet savvy so they can reach out socially in that manner. we don't really have a limitation in what we can do for patients. I mean, our main remit is it's 18 plus. We're mostly health focused because we're health funded. You've got to be a resident of the Borough of Hillingdon, and we support with long-term health conditions, frailty, social isolation. But more importantly, we also support a cohort of patients that are at risk of their conditions getting worse because they're not managing their health properly because of all of these wider elements that might be impacting them, and we try and support with those.
I have a question, and it's really for me, because I think back on my situation when my mom was, ailing, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to reach out. Yeah. So I found myself literally working around the clock, trying to work, trying to take care of her.
Perfect example.
Arguing with the family because I didn't think I got enough help, and it was just going around and around. I didn't know where to go. How do you get that message out to people?
To the community. That's simply it. So, I mean, we're based in GP surgery. So if you manage to get to health, we're working there as well. We're based in A&E also. We've got field workers who operate all over the borough. But it is about community messaging. It's about promotion. It's about networking as much as you can, linking with other small groups, charities, but also health professionals, the different wards, the different departments of the council. Is trying to get the message out as much as you can. But we're very accessible. We're a 9 to 5 service. You can self-refer. You can get referred by a health professional. You can telephone in our website. So we're fairly accessible.
So, and likewise, if people want to get involved, they can call their GP and everything you've just mentioned.
Absolutely. Yeah, anyone can self-refer. But most of our referrals, as I said, we're a health-led service. So we're focusing on patients that are already within the system and using a significant amount of resources.
Well, this is a feel-good event, so I'm going to ask you both individually. I'm going to start with you, Vicky. How do you go about looking after your own health and your own well-being and feeling good in general?
Okay, so you have to. I'm a busy working mum, so me time is important. So I try and factor in some meditation, aromatherapy, walks in nature in particular I like, and also just trying to keep healthy, no meat and avoiding sugar.
Makes sense. And what about you, Dalvinder?
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit more active, so I'm football, martial arts, spending time with the kids, out on the bike, and we encourage our staff to do the same thing as well.
Now, you know what, I think we've come to the end of the show so far. So how has it been for you based on what you've seen? I know you were in our networking room next door, so you had the opportunity to see what was happening. What do you think today has been all about?
It's been a great success, and there's been people here that have been here from the morning, and they're still here now.
They're still here.
And that's all you need to say, really.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. So I think I'm going to go over and join you, Henry. But I want to say, Dalvinder and Vicky, thank you so very much for joining us on the sofa this afternoon.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Elaine. I know you're going to make your way over to me now, but I just want to say what a great day we've had here in Hillingdon in the Seetec offices. Live broadcasting here, right from the offices. They've made us feel so at home, so thank you to all the staff here, all the partners that have visited us today, come in for a chat, all the participants. It's so inspiring to hear their stories coming from them and telling you guys at home and spreading the word of the great causes they have here. And a big, big thank you to my lovely, glamorous, gorgeous, stunning, glowing co-host here, Elaine.
Thank you so much. My left leg went dead. I've been sitting all morning. But
get you up off that sofa. There you go. A bit of a stretch.
Thank you so much. And Henry, you just make it so easy. Honestly, you've been a wonderful co-presenter. You've pulled me along the way beautifully today. I want to say thank you so much for that.
No trouble at all. And like I say, great hearing from the participants. What's been, I know we're probably not allowed favourite parts of the day, but what's been your favourite part of the day?
I think all of it, to be honest. A lot of the people that we've had on the set today, there have been people I've been networking with. These are people, the stakeholders that I've reached out and the partnerships that I've formed. So, yeah, I've enjoyed working with the partnerships that was on the show today. Yeah. And also the staff. I think the staff here at Seetec Pluss, they do a wonderful job. And today is their day to shine.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few of them come on board. I have been so impressed with their ability just to speak out.
They've all been
weren't
smiling.
Shy, were they?
They've all been smiling,
Oh, my
haven't they?
days,
All
yes.
day. I think we've got that Friday feeling here at the Seetec offices.
But they have really been a credit to the organisation. I'm really, really proud of the staff. And I really want to say thank you to a couple of people.
Yeah,
if that's
absolutely.
Going to be okay.
No, by all means.
The whole concept was today is about reaching out into the community. It's about saying to the community, Seetec Plus is here. How can we help you? It's about listening and understanding the needs and seeing how we can support within the community. It's also about forming the alliances and the partners. And I want to say thank you to everybody who turned out of their busy day today to come here. Guys, thank you so very much. I want to say thank you to my manager, Lorna McCallan, wonderful operations director. When I came with this idea, can we do this? Instantly, how can I help you? And that was great to have that strength behind
support.
us.
Yeah,
absolute wonderful support. And I want to say just thank you in general to all the team. Chaos TV, I love you guys. You guys are brilliant. I was so shocked. Yesterday, within like 3 hours, everything was up. And I'm thinking, what else can we do? And you guys said, we're finished. Brilliant, outstanding. And to our marketing department, Beth and to Geraldine, they are a tower of strength. They just make everything look so easy, don't they?
Oh, no, effortless, don't they? They're flapping around today, having a lovely chat with everybody, having a lovely time as if this isn't going on. And here we are, talking to the lovely guests ourselves as well.
Yes. And also, I can't forget Auriga Build, our landlords.
Yes.
They've been so wonderful and understanding. They allowed us to put out the red carpet to make everybody feel so special.
It's a lovely setting, isn't it? The facilities here are wonderful. The building itself is amazing.
And that's it from my side.
You're happy? There you go. That's your acceptance speach done now, isn't it? That's it. They like me. They really like me. So from us here in Hillingdon at the Seetec offices, it's a big thank you to everybody at home. Thank you all to all the partners, to our guests, the participants. Lovely to hear all their stories. So all the best to you. And it's a big bye from myself and Elaine here, from everybody here at Hillingdon.
Bye.
There they all are.